fantastic and something that I've had into practice in my own life. Not for as many years as I probably should have. It was all in my head, but now starting to put those things on paper. And I've always journaled. And this year, I know for myself, and you will start to see it, and even for the organization, but we want to be very intentional about the content that we're bringing to you and that we're pouring into not just developing skills and for networking, but also looking at those things internally to help you build a roadmap for the success in the career and just your path of your choosing. And so today we have our vision board session. So we want to make sure that we're turning all of your thoughts and all of your dreams and your aspirations and putting them down on paper so that they can become tangible. And back by popular demand, we have a long-term friend of mine and a supporter of heritage. We have Dr. Sherrish Holloman. So next slide, please. So that you all can see, I am always, I'm goober excited when I always introduce Dr. Holloman. First of all, she has a smile that is a lot of people would say $1 million. It's $1 billion smile. And she just makes you feel warm and inviting. Her smile is inviting, but also she's a woman of purpose and determination. I've known her for over 20 some years. I'm not going to give the exact number, but let's just say we were in our early 20s. And she has been a pillar of strength and a pillar of success for so many people and have been a sounding board. So I couldn't think of any other person to lead this, what I say, a critical conversation in talking about evolving, looking forward, and actually holding yourself accountable, but also thinking about those people that you can bring into your circle to hold you accountable as well, so that you can live out your greatest and your wildest dream. But Dr. Sherrish Holloman is the Director of Diversity and Institutional Equity at the private school in Brooklyn, New York. She began her career as a high school English teacher and has worked in education for over 30 years. She's a native of North Carolina. Her career has taken her to New York, Memphis, Tennessee, and the Middle East, where she recently spent 5 years in the UAE. She earned her doctorate in English education from Columbia University and holds a bachelor and master's degree at North Carolina A&T State University. She believes that creating a vision creates a path forward. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Dr. Sherrish Holloman to Spotlight and to welcome us into this new journey.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for that lovely introduction, as well as for the opportunity to be back with the Heritage family again. As I was saying in the introduction about how having that vision just creates your path forward, and I will admit that some of my younger self was not always thinking so futuristically. So one of the things I've appreciated about my opportunities with Heritage, it's just recognizing that there are things that we can share with young people, that they can do things differently and in many cases better than how we did them once upon a time. So I'm really looking forward to this. And as we talk about creating your vision board, we're really talking about the path to becoming your very best self. And this quote always comes to mind for me when I'm thinking about a vision board, and how a vision without any action is just a dream. And if you have action without vision, let me move this up here, you're just passing time. And then when you have a vision and you combine it with action, that's when you can begin to change the world. And that's how those things happen. We have a vision, we put it into action, and then we see change, the change that begins to take place. So one of the things that I know we talked about in our pre-session, and one of the things that I'm definitely want us to do today is this is going to be a working session, not a talking session, not a in theory kind of session. This will be a working session because the goal is by the end, we will all leave with a working framework for our vision. And then I'd like to say our revision, just in case there's something that you've already envisioned and you want to kind of look at it through a different light, through different eyes. We will revision that. And one way we'll do that is we'll do a couple of things. We're going to first identify a quote that we live by, like what's something that just really speaks to you when you're trying to figure out like this life I'm in. And then building around that quote, thinking about considering our personal, our emotional, relational, our career, our physical, our aspirational goals. Like these are the things that we're thinking about as we're creating a vision in our path forward. We'll come back together and talk about some of our accountability partners. What does it mean to be accountable? And then most importantly, what it means to celebrate those little tiny celebrations along the way. And then we'll close with just a few positive affirmations, things that we can take in to the rest of 2023. So as we get ready to start building our vision board, I would like to invite everyone to grab a piece of paper, a pencil, a tablet, or something, anything that you can write or take notes on. And remember that this vision board is designed to empower you personally to take ownership of your life direction. So I'm going to grab my paper and pen here because I'm going to complete the activity along with everyone else. So first thing, let me see here, is what is a quote that you kind of live by? And I want you to write that down. So as you're, however you're doing this, whether it's on a piece of paper, just something that you kind of live by. And then to the extent that it's possible, I'm going to invite some of us to just either share our quote live or share it in the chat. I see a hand raised, and don't forget to take, and I'll say this to everyone because I still do this, don't forget to take yourself off mute.
Is this for me?
Yes.
So I actually had two, but the one that I typically refer to the most is I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very nice, Tina. And I see something in the chat. Tina, do you mind checking out the chat for us, please? I see some comments there. Oh, and I see a hand. Is it Boulay? And I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly.
Good. Well, it's afternoon this side. It's pronounced Boucher. The quote that I live by is success is not an event. It is the result of regular and consistent hard work.
Oh, yes. Very nice. Very nice. And I'm just curious, what does that quote mean to you, and why is it something that just why does that speak to you?
Um, it speaks to me because I mean, just much like everyone else, I do want to be successful, but I do realize that it's not just something that's just gonna happen or be given to me. I need to put consistent steps towards reaching whatever I consider successful. And that is why I say it is the result of regular and consistent hard work.
Mhm, mhm. I like that. Thank you. And are there some comments in the chat? Are there other hands that are raised?
I see a comment that's in the chat, but I'm not quite sure who it is from. I think it's someone from HSCF. So can you come off of mute and state your quote?
Oh, yes, definitely. I just wanted to interact and say that I do not have like a quote, but I think that my own quote would be to be joyful, fulfilling, and successful.
Mhm,
Like those three words. I don't have a quote, but I have like three words that I can stand by.
That works. That works. That works. Thank you. Anyone else? So for those of you who are watching, perhaps on YouTube, and we're not able to hear
Oh,
from you.
Dr. Holloman, there is one. Let me see. Let me make sure. Lufono, hopefully I pronounced it correctly, from South Africa. Don't stop because you are tired. Stop only when you are done.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, that's a
Wow.
good puncher.
That's power. That is
Yes.
power. That is power. Okay. Okay. So what I'm hoping that we're able to do is that you're writing down this quote and even someone else's quote, because I like the one about don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done, and about success. So I'm kind of borrowing quotes from others as I'm trying to create a better vision for myself. So I hope everyone else will kindly share and take away from some of those things. So I think that's great. Before I move on, is there anyone else who wants to share? And I think I see another comment in the chat.
No,
I will
I don't
share
see.
mine.
Okay.
My
Okay.
quote will be just enjoy where you are now. It's simple, but I really like it because sometimes you worry so much about the future and you forget to enjoy where you are right now.
Mhm.
Okay, is that you, Cara?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. All right. So now we have a bunch of quotes that either you have shared or we've heard from others. We can kind of bring all these things into play. So what you see on this bit of a board in front of us are just different parts of components of a vision board. And one of the things that we wanted to do today was actually create the framework to put some of these words to paper. Because I think what happens is when we try to create our vision board, of course, there are visions and there will be images and things like that. And you'll see that we will move on to that part. But for now, I invite everyone to just think about some personal growth goals that you may have. And I'd like to say, when we're thinking about our goals, you're thinking about some things that might seem like far away, like a personal goal might be, I want to, what's a good personal growth goal? One that I have for myself. I just want to be more intentional about just taking care of me, taking care of family. So that's kind of like a big thing, but there are some little things that we can do along the way. So as you're thinking about some of your personal growth goals, also keep in mind that with something big, we can always break it down and go a little bit smaller. And I'm not going to, I'll invite you to share if you like, but what I'd like for us to do is kind of go through each one of these pieces and then see what we have when we get closer to the end. And then I will ask us to share. One of the things when we think about the vision board and the accountability component is that when we say things and we speak things out into existence, then that helps us to believe what we're saying. And it also helps us with our accountability. It's great when you have friends and family and people around you who remind you, no, remember you said you wanted to do this. So that's always a good thing to have. So our personal growth goals.
And it's interesting, Dr. Holloman, that you mentioned intentional, because that's my word goal for the year is intentional. So, which is the reason why, and it ties back to the quote. For me, I think I have spread myself very thin. And so now I want to be very intentional about, money, space, time, friends, all of that. So I don't become overwhelmed.
What about career goals? How about we jump into that one? Whether it's something that you're interested in doing for the future or something that you want to change like right away. So thinking about those career goals. And by the way, there's no correct order to this. We're just jumping around. So there's no wrong way to do this.
And, and I'll just add, oftentimes we think that our career is just a linear path to, especially if you're in university right now, what you're studying, if you want to be a doctor or teacher or, pick. But you can have multiple careers. You can have multiple professions in a lifetime. So think, even further beyond.
Which is very true. I think there were generations where you had individuals who started one career and then they retired from that career 25, 30 years later. I think now we're seeing more of a trend where people are having just kind of multiple careers and multiple lives and multiple experiences, which I think is the beauty of the world that we're living in now, is those kind of things are really welcome.
And quite frankly, sometimes necessary.
And necessary.
I can't tell you how many people I think have another career with their side jobs, all in this whole gig economy or digital space.
Absolutely.
But they still going to that 9 to 5, trying to, as they say, get ahead. Because they got a plan. They put together a vision board.
And so now what about our friends, family and friends? What's our vision there?
So Dr. Holloman, let me ask you this, since I'm still on the spotlight. For those who, this is the first time putting together this vision board, and we're going through the quote and our personal career or growth goals, and now looking at family and friends. Sometimes people can be in a deep emotional state and they know that there needs to be a change. What guidance would you provide people as they're putting together their vision board, but yet they're focused and stuck, emotionally in where they don't want to be, and want to put this for what their future is? How would you guide them so that they're not putting things there that says, I don't want this, or I don't want that? Because the things that you say you don't want, those are the things that you focus on, right? And those are the things that you end up attracting to you. How would you guide them around that?
I would come to this one here, which is talking about, so how do you want to feel? So a lot of times we think about, these are the material things that I want. I want to have a nice car. I want to live in a nice home. I want to have these things. I want this kind of career. I want these particular things. But the bigger question is, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel like you are serving others? Do you want to feel like you're serving, there's purpose for your life? Do you want to feel like there's intentionality? So I would say begin with thinking about how you want to feel, because once you realize how you want to feel, then it affects the way that you have some of your personal growth goals. It would affect the way that you interact with your friends and your family. And when you think about those interactions, we're thinking both about things that you would like to receive from others, as well as things that you want to give and speak into others as well.
No, I think that's a good one.
And so I would say that to everyone, just really focus on how you want to feel. I love the quote by Maya Angelou, who talks about how people may forget the things that you say, but they'll never forget the way the way you make them feel. And it's so true. You can think about an experience of, maybe it was a particular celebration, or maybe it was some award you received or something, and you can remember like, oh, I was so happy on that day. Now you may not remember like all the specific details, who said what, where did you go, like you may not remember all those details, but you remember being happy. And in some instances, when things happen that don't make us quite so happy, we remember those too. Like I remember I was sad on that day. I remember I wasn't happy when I read about these things. So like we remember those feelings. And so when we focus on the way we want to feel, that definitely can help us think about things around us.
So I have just in thinking about this. So some people, they will think they will feel happy if they made more money, or they would feel happy if, they have these quotes out here where people say, oh, if I had a husband or a partner, that person will complete me. It's like, no, this vision board is for you to be complete yourself, and for you to find those intrinsic values within yourself that you can highlight and shine and boast about and feel good. So this is your confidence booster when those days that go by, or situations go by or happen. And not everything is going to be perfect, but this is a reminder of the path, because it's the learning comes in the journey and how you evolve. And being very intentional about that.
So, something else that's up here that's kind of new for me. It's something I know I've not thought a lot about previously, and that is about the physical environment. What are the things around? Let me see here. What are the things that you just want around you that can, in some ways, complete you, or something that can just make you happy, or just, something that you're particularly concerned about?
So this could be, spending 15 minutes in a garden or walking in a park or being outside instead of working out in a gym, working out outside,
This could also
those
be,
things.
it could be that, absolutely. It can also be just the environment,
Location where you're living.
location. Do you want to have a space that's perhaps less cluttered? Do you want to have your room or areas that you occupy arranged in a particular way? Do you want to
Mhm.
create an environment that is more inviting and welcoming to others? Just those kind of things that just, maybe there is, sometimes people want to change their physical environment. Maybe you don't want to have electronics that are right beside your bed. Maybe you don't want the television in your room, like just those kind of things in your physical space that.
Those are good examples, Dr. Holloman, because I do know I've had conversations with people recently where they feel like that blue light is impacting their sleep. So they're not getting enough rest. So they're feeling tired. So they're moving all digital assets outside of their resting space.
Mhm.
Or they're using I think on your cell phones, they may have started this several years ago, but they put in a time limit for how much social media.
Hmm.
But that's not necessarily the physical environment, is it? Or is that?
That's part of your physical environment.
It could be. Okay.
Yes. I think some of that can definitely lead to your physical environment. Or if, I know for me, I love being around water. So if there's a
Mhm.
way that I can create opportunities for myself just to be around water and just to have that experience. And then I also think about our physical environment in terms of ways that we can be kinder and better citizens, thinking about our environment around us. So I think about how I've been really trying not to do a lot of single-use plastics. I've been trying to step away from that. So that's another way I'm also trying to improve the environment. And that's kind of a commitment that I made, that I'm going to try whenever possible not to do those things. And then to make sure that when I do, I definitely recycle. So those are just, all those, the physical environment can be a number of things. And it can truly be what feels right for each individual person.
I think the examples, Dr. Holloman, are definitely helpful because I wasn't looking at the physical environment as this is something that I was just doing personally, but I'm glad that you brought this up, and being less consumer driven. So just buying consumption or an overabundance of things, because now, how are you being kind to the environment?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And having more organic things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know that right now you and I are having a lot of conversation, but I do want the others on the call and those who are watching to know that we will have some opportunity towards the end, because we really want to hear from everyone. Because again, when you speak with intentionality about your vision, then it definitely helps with the accountability, which we'll come to. Finances. What about money? What do we want to do with money? Now, one thing I want to share here is a bit of advice that someone gave me years ago, and I've never forgotten it. It was talking about time and money. And so the friend said to me that in life, we can always make more money, but we can't always get our time back. So it really got me to thinking about just really what's important. Yes, money matters. we needed to exist and to be, but just that idea about how you can always go and make more money, but there's
Mhm.
times and experiences we can't get back and do over. So just a little nugget of thought as we're thinking about some of our financial goals.
Something I absolutely live by. Someone put a comment in the chat. Can you come off of mute and just state your comment, please?
Oh, well, it was me.
I know.
It was about the physical environment. Like I was thinking about it, and one of the smallest things that I did is that I really like, when you go to a place and it smells nice around it and how you feel warm. So a few months I started to buy candles, scented candles, and I started to using in my own space. And when you come back or you go to the bathroom and you come back to your house, you're like, I like it. So I think that's a good, the physical environment is something that we didn't think that we have to think about, but it's something that is impactful too. So that's it.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Listening to you, I'm also thinking about plants. So recently I'm trying myself out with a green thumb and just realizing kind of the difference that it makes to have a plant in your physical environment. So it's like all those things, the smells, the sounds, the feels, all of those things that make up
Absolutely. Down to the music that you listen to.
Exactly. I know many of us are probably still writing, but I'm going to invite you to continue writing while we shift to one of what I consider to be one of the best parts of a vision board are just these things here that we want to do for fun. Here we go. So, like, what are some of those things on your vision that are just fun? Things that make you happy.
I'm so glad you added that. Because that's not something that I typically will add to my aspiration. Because I just don't think about what fun to incorporate. So I'm glad to see that because I want to be very intentional this year about that. I see someone, Valeria, you have travel. Yeah, see, and I travel a lot. The thing is, I want to have more fun when I travel.
Right.
Because I travel a lot for work.
Exactly. So it's travel, but is it fun? And I'm sure you make fun wherever you go, but just thinking
I
about
bring the fun.
You bring the fun.
It just don't last as long as I would like for it to.
Lovely. So what are some fun things that you want to do in your life?
Okay, so Valeria said she put travel, and then she said, yes, travel for fun. We have to be specific. Exactly.
And fun can mean so many different things. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to a certain place. I personally try to have fun through laughter every day. I am in constant search of something to laugh about. And quite honestly, I never usually have to look that hard. Many times I'll think about a story that someone has shared with me or just something that's just entertaining or amusing because laughter can do so much for the soul. And there's some times when, you laugh to keep from crying, or you laugh and you just see kind of like there's a lighter side of things. So when I think about ways of having fun, it could be through laughter. It could be through seeing a friend on a more regular basis. It could be through just treating yourself at the end of the week, or just saying like, we're gonna have fun. Like, we're gonna go and watch a movie. I'm gonna just go take, a half an hour and just do nothing and just relax and just take care of me, and just thinking about that.
Cara,
So-
you have something in the chat. You want to talk about that?
Yes, I just say that something that I like to do for fun is trying new things, trying something new, or learn something new too. It makes you feel alive.
Mm.
I'm curious, what's something fun or something new that you've done recently?
Well, I haven't done it yet, but this weekend, today or tomorrow, I want to play tennis for the first time. I've never done it before because I'm always so afraid that I'm going to be too bad at it, but I'm going to try it anyway. And it's part of something new that I'm trying this year, to do something new more often.
I love it. I
Very
love it.
nice.
I love it. Fantastic. So, along the same lines of having fun, looking at the purple, self-care goals. Now, I will be the first to admit that is where I oftentimes fall short. And I think I find myself, and I know this may be the case for many women, that we're just taking care of so many others that sometimes we don't do we don't do so well in taking care of ourselves. So thinking about, what are some of your self-care goals, and what are some of the ways that you take care of yourself? And then if there's anyone here that's really good about self-care, please share your secrets, and maybe that can help some others of us on the call.
I don't know if this is like a best practice for everybody, but I remember, back when I was in university, having a really hectic schedule. More than just taking classes. That was also, I think it was president of Society of Women Engineers, president of so I just had a whole lot that was going on. And I remember there was a couple of advisors that I had, but one came up to me and said, if you don't take care of you, life has a way of taking care of your body. You need to slow down. Understanding that I had a lot going on, she said, pick a day. While I was in university, I said Thursday night or Thursday evening, I would shut everything down. And that was going to be my own personal pajama party. It was close enough to the weekend that I can continue it. So I didn't want to start it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because you still had all of the other days. But that was when I didn't listen to it wasn't a lot of vitriol or anything. I just listened to so I had candles, I had really nice music, or sometimes I had absolutely nothing at all. But I just sat with myself and did a lot of meditation and wrote my thoughts down. The phone would ring, I would not answer it. That was my personal self-care. I wanted to just focus on me and be with me. And when I don't do that, then that's when things become chaotic.
Are you continuing that practice?
I do. It's not necessarily on Thursdays now, but I'm a little older, so I have a lot more command. And so I can find those moments like that, and I can spread those out throughout the week. Actually, I know how to focus. And I've always had pretty good eating habits, but definitely in the past 5 years, I can't say eliminates, because we all eat things and we have no idea what's in it. But I cut out a lot of sugar, and I realized that was robbing my it was distorting a lot of things within my body. So once I cut that out, I noticed a massive difference in just clarity as well as energy.
Mhm, mhm. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, the last thing that we have here, and then we'll start to share what's on our board, and we'll start to share some of our visions, and then we'll move into our final stretch of affirmations. I'm curious, what's missing? What is something that is part of your vision that you don't see listed here? Anything? I know Tina mentioned food, but I think that could have fallen under something else, but I'm just curious, anything else that's part of your vision that you don't see here? Well, hearing none, we're going to move into the sharing phase. So your vision framework may not be 100% complete. Oh, I forgot one thing. The images you see here, we have like these different images. So those are just whatever images that will go along with what it is that you need to do. And one thing that I will say about the images is it can be, I used to think of images as like, I need to have like this person who does this career or this house or this particular landmark or something like that. Now I think of images in a different way. So for instance, when I think about the importance and how much I want to laugh every day, I think about the emoji with the big laughing face. Or if, you want to be reminded to take time for yourself each day, then maybe there's a clock. And maybe that clock is reminding you it's time for me, or just, something like that. So it doesn't necessarily always have to look like, a bunch of specific pictures. It literally can just be something that just is a mark for you. An image that I had on my vision board from last year that I loved was I literally took my cell phone, I had a picture of my cell phone with a big X through it, which was kind of like reminded me like, don't always have to be attached to this phone. So just as you're thinking about images, just remember you can be non-traditional in some of the images that you come up with. So now at this point, I'd like to invite us to come off of mute and then just give us a few highlights of what's on your 2023 vision board.
So I'm actually going to ask Bufle.
Oh,
You can
okay.
start first.
Okay, so under my personal growth goals, I think the one that I have here that I think is most important would probably be to be kinder to myself and to others. Not to insinuate that I'm not kind, but to be kinder, And then career goals. So I'm in university. This year I'm doing my second year. So I think my most important goal there is to do very well. I want to gain admission into something that they call the orange carpet, or like the dean's list at my university. So I want to make sure I'm focused on my books in order to get into that dean's list. And I also want to get a chance to shadow a chartered accountant at one of the big 4 firms here in South Africa. So either KPMG, PwC, EY, and the other ones.
Mhm.
And then family and friends, goals or my vision there would be to really strengthen the bond that I have with them, both my family and friends, through having deeper and more frequent conversations with them and just creating more experiences. And then under my physical environment, I'd like to move out of the area that I am currently living in to a place that is safer and, I don't know, filled with a lot more green, because I'm in quite urban, congested area. So it's not necessarily the safest place. And also to just change the setup of my room to make it, you know, homier, and just to move a few things around. And then fun goals. I'd like to go bungee jumping at some point. I think I'm going to do that before the year ends.
Oh, wow.
And also go ice skating because I've never done that. And then self-care goals. It's just to develop a simple skincare routine because right now all it consists of is just like washing my face with regular schmegular soap and just moisturizing it. I think it has to be a bit more complex than that.
Those are awesome.
And also to get my teeth whitened. I thought. And then under my what's missing, I'm not so sure if it falls under here. I just didn't know where to place it. I wanted to get my driver's license this year. So that's
Good.
my
Okay.
learners and my driver's license. Yeah, that's about it.
And I'm curious, what are some images that might go along with some of the things that you're talking about doing?
Well, I don't really have images right now, but obviously I'd say like a picture of people like at a table or at a restaurant or something, just enjoying each other's company and just enjoying some good food, some good music, and obviously a car. I mean, I know I'm not getting a car, but you know, driver's license.
Well, you never
car,
know.
and well, yes, I never know, indeed. But it would be more in relation to my driver's license, and obviously, yeah, I think, and obviously a bungee jumping, a really tall bridge, high up, high, just
Ooh, okay.
jumping.
All right.
Love it.
Awesome. I like how you've spoken these things, and then clearly you have a vision as well. So like you're saying it, you're hearing it, and then with those images, you'll be seeing it as well, which I think is awesome. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think, Dr. Holloman, we probably have time for another. So
Sure.
I would like to, Aaliyah.
Hi.
Hi, Aaliyah.
Okay, so my vision, in terms of self-care goals, I took a gap year last year and it was very mentally draining because I thought, okay, I'd be able to figure out what I'd like to do. I thought it would help me decide on like my future goals and stuff, but it actually made me more confused. So this year with my self-care goals, I'd like to try meditation more, spending time alone. I feel like with this world and with everything that's going on, it gets so overwhelming and people forget to like spend time to themselves. So I'd like to just have like a more personal relationship with myself as well as with God as well, spiritually. You know, I'm on a spiritual journey. So yeah, that's my self-care goals, as well as going to the gym. I recently joined the gym and I feel like having a routine keeps me grounded because I'm a very routinal person. I like following something and having something to do. So if I have nothing to do, I get a little bit confused. So yeah, going to the gym has been keeping me grounded lately, and I want to be consistent with that. And then in terms of career goals, I would like to study a bachelor in diagnostic radiology this year. Yeah, so I've applied to universities as well, and I'm hoping to hear from them soon. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, and I'd also like to volunteer in like hospitals as well, to work with radiologists to see how the workspace environment is, so that I can get more intel on that. Hopefully I could make like a lifelong like friendship there, and I'd be able to work in the same hospital I was volunteering in, you know. Yeah, like more like networking. And then with family and friends, I don't know, I'm a very introverted person, so it's hard for me to keep communication. Like I literally struggle with communication, so I want to work on my communication skills. I'd like to communicate with my friends more, check in on them, you know, especially with my family as well. So that's the one thing I want to work on this year, just communication, better communication. And also my time management skills as well. I'm not a very punctual person, so I need to work on my punctuality. And then my fun goals would probably be I'm a very outgoing person, so I don't really have to work on that. I don't have any difficulty like going out with my friends and stuff, but I'd like to do more solo dates with myself, like going out alone, going on spontaneous dates alone. I feel like I'm not a very independent person, so I want to work on my independency. And yeah, I also want to attain a driver's license as well this year, because I turned 18. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. There's a lot to it, honestly. I could go on and on. And yeah. So yeah, that's like the summary right there.
Sounds like you have a very ambitious vision. So
Yes,
yes, it
yes.
sounds very ambitious. So I think that is excellent. That is excellent. I know we are rounding out, but I did want to sort of bring us to this at the end. Let me see if I can here. See here, I want to erase. So when we're thinking here about some of these affirmations, I would like for us to, well, first I'm just going to read some, and maybe you close your eyes and listen, or however you'll best receive it. So today, I choose to be happy. I am patient. I love who I am becoming. I have unlimited power. I am doing the best I can. I am beautiful. I am becoming a better version of myself. I am in the right place. Today is full of opportunities because I am worthy. I trust my instincts, and I will not settle for less than I deserve. Is there one of those affirmations that speaks to any of you, or is there another affirmation that comes to mind for you as we're closing today?
I like the one that says, I'm doing the best I can. sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and we don't give credit to ourselves for doing the best we can every day.
Mhm,
I really like that one.
mhm.
Any others?
I think the one that speaks to me the most is I love who I am becoming. Because as I go through the days and I'm growing, both like physically, I'm growing, but as I meet new people and I experience new things and I absorb new information, I think that's making me into a better person. Like the person that I'll be 10 years, even next year is so much better than the person that I am today. And I just love seeing that happen. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Nice, nice.
Any
Yes,
others?
I also resonate with Bushe on what she said. With the I'm becoming a better version of myself. I feel like just seeing that whole process of changing and letting go of toxic habits and things that no longer serve you and actually working towards your goals. It's a very motivational experience and it pushes you. So yeah, I do believe that yeah, it's a beautiful process, honestly. Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
Mm.
So those who
Yeah.
can't see, the two young ladies that have spoken, and actually as well as my staff, I can say that I can see every day that you all have evolved. And Aaliyah and Boufflé, I mean, you've been with me since I think 2016 in South Africa, and I can just, my heart flutters when I see the journey and the path that they have taken, and just how eloquently, even on this call, that they're talking about they're being intentional about the future. So I would say with mine, and then Dr. Holloman, I'll turn it over to you. And I think I have a couple announcements for next month. Is I'm a little older. We are a little older, but I believe I'm in the right place. The experiences that I've had, the challenges that have come my way, I think I'm so better prepared in being able to help others to see around the corners. And that gives me joy to be able to support so many of our youth in their journey. I'm really happy where I am.
And the only thing I would say is just thank you for this opportunity, Tina, and to say to everyone that I hope you were able to walk away with something from today, just listening to some of what you've shared in terms of your visions and some of these affirmations, and especially some of your quotes and words that you live by. I feel very, very, very good about the future generations. So thank you all for this opportunity to both learn from you and just to have this whole experience of visioning and revisioning together. So thank you.
Perfect. So again, Dr. Holloman, Dr. Sherrish Holloman, I want to thank you again for just leaning in and being a part of this. And most of you who don't know, and I like to be transparent, especially I'm very intentional about the people that come into this space. But Dr. Holloman and I, we've known each other since university. So we're pups. So in talking about growth and development, Dr. Holloman has been consistent since day one that we actually took a class together. She was in grad school and I was finishing out my engineering degree. And so you see the circle of friends and people that, one, I admire, those that inspire me, and how they live their life. I want to make sure that they are part of, inspiring that next generation. So I thank you. So, as we wrap up, every month, just about every month, we have our masterclass session. Next month is Black History Month. And this year, there's 3 things that we're focused on. So not just being intentional about the people that we bring in and making sure that we understand our history as well as opportunities going forward. But it's also focused on 2 areas that I consider to be watering holes, and that's music that bring people together and definitely food. So next month, we have celebrity chef, Chef Stephen Beatty. He's out of South Carolina. He has worked with a lot of famous chefs that you see on television and some that are household names. He's going to be with us next month during our next month masterclass to talk about just the evolution of food and how Africa and a lot of the spices and so many different dishes that we have in other countries, and particularly here in the United States, how they have made their way from Africa to the United States and how it has influenced so many businesses, let alone restaurants, and definitely tantalized our palates. So make sure you join us. We're going to have a recipe that we're going to be doing together. And we're going to have a very deep conversation just unpacking who he is and why food is important and why his journey is important for you to participate and to know about in next month's session. So I bid you all a wonderful weekend. Hopefully this session has been good for all of you to look at how you're going to be intentional about charting your path in 2023, but don't let that stop in 2023. Let it continue for years to come. And we welcome you back next month. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.